Hello and welcome to another episode of Our Own Devices. This time we have with us Nipun Marya, a very familiar name in the gadget tech circles in India. And he's going to talk to us about a brand that's sort of making a little bit of an inroad in certain audience segments in the market. And that's a brand called Iqoo, of which he's the CEO. Nipun, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's great to be back.
So, Nipun, it is a very young brand, right? It's a young brand because the brand in itself it sort of oozes a youth, but it's also targeted at the youth. So how do you work on something like that? Is that a lot of work on the drawing board? Features, specs, are they sort of customized for that Gen Z? How do you work on that?
It's the best part about working, for products made for Gen Z is that you're not alone out there. All you need to do is go out there and seek information from the Gen Z. And the more you can speak to them, the more you can collaborate with them, the more information you will gather. And I think that's the key mantra. At least that's been the key mantra for Iqoo. That the more we can reach out to our people, our Gen Z, our fans, and get them to talk and get them to share.
So obviously you're doing your customer survey kind of thing and all of that, but also like with this segment and given the way technology is shaping up these days, things are changing very fast, right? So like and given the kind of production cycles you have with phones, is that a problem that you have? Hey, brought in something really new, and by the time the phone is actually selling, that trend itself has moved on.
I think one thing for us to really understand in today's world, which has changed from the millennials being the OTG, was there is very little information asymmetry now. Information
Yeah.
is readily available. In fact, there are customers out there, and people who are passionate about mobile phones. They have equal or sometimes even better knowledge than people who are working inside organizations, right? So passion point determines how much you know, not necessarily profession, as
Yep.
was the case some time back, right? So, and because there is very little information asymmetry, what we have seen is that right now we don't have to sell to Gen Z. We have to source ideas from them, right? And if you're able to not sell but source, you automatically start becoming more efficient in whatever you are doing. And therefore, for Iqoo, what we did at our level is we've made the whole community, the Iqoo Connect, a very important part of our strategy. And when I say strategy, I don't say marketing strategy. It is, our brand strategy, our business strategy. Because basis the community, we are able to get so much information on what are the evolving needs of the Gen Z, what do they really like, dislike, etc., etc. And then you work with them, and it's not just in the product actually, Nandu. It is even before that. What do you stand for as a brand, right? There
Yep.
again, it will help, and we can talk more about authenticity and other things. But that's really the key. That at every point in time, if you can be authentic and source ideas from people who are really passionate about you, I think that's the key to for a new brand.
So to have that like a two-way conversation with your community in a way, and to
Yes,
sort of incorporate that with every SKU or with every new
yes.
iteration of the product, I think that becomes very important, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, as I said, it's not about selling, it is about sourcing, right? So you
Hmm.
source ideas from them. If you can source ideas from them, if you can co-create, they feel valued. They feel part of being, being participating in a cause which is much bigger, right? And I think that's the key here. That when you're starting something, when you're making something, your ideas alone will never be enough. And that's the beauty. We are agile, we are flexible. We If we get inputs today, we can change our course tomorrow, which may not be possible with very large organizations. And therefore, with Iqoo, we are making this as a practice, that we hear and source ideas from other Iqoo fans.
But if you are a multinational, does it mean that you need to have a little bit of a localized behavior when you're sourcing this kind of ideas? That hey, it's great, it's a great feature to have in India, but might not work somewhere else.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, I think that's the respect you also need to give to your TG. In cricket's parlance, if you see, depending on the pitch conditions and the weather conditions, you change your your batting
Yes,
order,
strategy.
or even the batting approach, or what you will do at
Yeah.
toss. Right. So it can't be one size fits all ever. Right. So if it's not true in cricket, not true in so many other walks of life, similarly, it's not true in product strategy, marketing strategy, etc., etc. Right? We have to understand what works for our customers and respect those conditions.
So, if you're looking at the Indian market, so what have been your biggest learnings so far? Like introducing a new brand to to the country.
Yeah. So see, when we and over the last 2 3 years, we've been working on Iqoo, and Iqoo being a very very young brand. Some key learnings that we've really gathered are: number one, the smartphone customer of today is very different from the smartphone customer of 5 6 7 years back. Right, at that time, a lot of people were overawed by technology. They were unaware of what a smartphone can offer to them. They were sold phone spaces, whatever, say, the shopkeeper or the promoter or anybody who just recommended, and they bought. The customer of today is very very different. This person has already used, maybe if not one, for sure maybe two phones or even three phones in his life already, especially ICO customers, right? They are people who know what technology can offer to them. They know what is out there which is good for them and not good for them, right? See, at every price point, and India is still a price sensitive market, right? At a 15K, 20K, 10K price point, there will be compromises which one will have to make, right? Okay, so because no product will have everything in perfect order. So as a customer, today the customer is very well aware of, yes, maybe, I don't want camera as much, but I want the best gaming experience, right? Or I want the best multitasking experience. It's okay, even if my say look and feel or touch is say 8 out of 10, but I want my multitasking to be 10 out of 10, my charging to be 10 out of 10, right? So my battery life to be 10 out of 10. So the customer today is very well aware. And I think that's a big difference. And actually, it works in our favor when it comes to IQ, because IQ being in the online space, right? There is no way we can have a physical connection with the customer because we sell only on Amazon right now. So for our customers, they're so well aware that they know what they have to buy, and they just come to Amazon to make their final purchase or read more about it before they make their final purchase. So awareness, is, I think, a key difference between how the market was 5 7 years back and how the market is today.
So, at one point, a few years back, when you were selling online, it was more of a specs game, right? Because if a person is going to Amazon and maybe comparing multiple phones, your
Yeah,
specs need to look better.
yeah,
So, has it changed because you're talking about a more aware, evolved customer?
absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. So it has changed so much that now the conversation has shifted from the product features, the numbers, to the experience. And I
Yeah.
think it's a very good conversation to have, where you're going beyond just numbers and moving into experience. And I see and hear customers today saying, "Oh, these are the numbers, but I want to know how is the real experience of the product." Right? If you go to YouTube and you check, customers are not satisfied today with only, say, basic unboxings. What customers want is, okay, do a stress test, do a gaming test, right? Do a slightly longer review of the product. So people have gone into those kinds of details, and I think and the devil lies in the detail, right? The when you how you separate the men from the boys is when you go into the details, right? And I think
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
where it really helps us also, because we believe that the phone is so much today, right? It is an extension of your personality. It is an extension of your work life, of your personal life, right? Everything is being done and being made more efficient through the phone. So the phone really needs to match up to your standards. And that is where I think customer experience really helps, and not just the numbers on paper.
So it's great to know that the realization has finally dawned that numbers not equals experience. And there's a struggle that we have always had. People would ask, but that phone has 4 GB RAM and this is only 3 GB or 2 GB. So yeah, why are you recommending a phone with less RAM?
Yeah,
Right? Because the experience is so superior, right? And
absolutely.
experience is not just based on specs; it's based on a lot of things coming together.
Right.
Now, the the other thing is you touched upon it, I think a couple of times already, is gaming. And
Yeah.
and we are coming out of the pandemic in a way, hopefully. And during that period when people did not have much to do, you could not go out. Gaming did become very popular in the Indian market, and not just among the youth. A lot of people got into gaming of different types. But so is that really now a driver for adoption of a phone in the Indian market?
For a lot of people, yes. Because if you
Okay.
see today, gaming is certainly a very good source of recreation. And in addition to so many other things you do on phone, watching and other things. But all of that is still passive engagement. It is not active engagement, right? If you're
Yeah,
browsing on
yeah.
social media, it is passive consumption, right? If you're watching OTT, it is passive consumption, right? But when you're playing a game, you're actively engrossed, engaged in an activity, right? So what we are also noticing is that Gen Z, they are they are preferring more active engagement than passive engagement, right? And here gaming is certainly coming to the fore, and there are gaming games of all kinds, right? In fact, you can go as sophisticated as battle royale, or hardcore action games, or even as basic as say Ludo. And there are enough
Yeah.
and more people playing all kinds of games, right? And gaming, uh, so this is on the consumer side. But now if you see on the product side, what it requires is that your phone should also be able to match up to the standards which the customer expects from their device. The
Yeah.
last thing you want is that you're ready to kill, but your phone hangs, right? So therefore, for situations like these, you need a phone which can deliver that kind of experience. For us also at Iqoo, we take a lot of pride in saying this, that the gaming experience in Iqoo, if not the best, but is certainly amongst the best in the industry today, right? Whether it is about no lags, or it is about quick charging, or is it about cooling technology so that the phone doesn't hang, because these are the most important pain points of the customers, hanging, lagging, so frame drops, and those are the things we are very, very careful about when we are designing phones.
And if you do it well for gaming, it sort of solves the problem for a lot of other use cases a person has on the
Absolutely.
phone,
So
like
gaming is a yes.
streaming a movie or something. Yeah.
Absolutely. So gaming in a way is also a reflection, or good gaming is a reflection of that this phone will be able to handle challenging tasks,
Yeah.
right? And when we look at it like this, then yes, challenging tasks could be multitasking, could be even streaming something, or rendering a video, or opening a heavy file. Any of those tasks can, of course, be butter smooth if your main task, or heavy task like gaming, can be done well.
And when you're talking about younger customers, you're also talking about people who are maybe not there on the traditional channels. Okay, you're going online, but these are maybe not people who are maybe reading a newspaper or even watching TV. So how do you reach out to them? How do you put your message out to them? How important is maybe social media in that segment?
Yeah. Yeah, so this is one thing which I discuss with my team, that shopping has now turned social.
Yeah.
And when I say shopping has turned social, it does not mean that only the last mile is being done here. Even the need stage, even the discovery of the need, or the need generation, is also happening on social media. How my friend bought something, he put it out on social media. So many times I also feel the need that, oh, now I also want to buy, right? And
Yeah.
so rights from and then after needs, even discovery, that what do I want to buy, right? That is happening on social media. The validation of your shortlisting is happening through reviews and other things. So the whole shopping is now turning social. So, and people are relying more on word of mouth. People are relying more on peer-to-peer reviews and feedback than necessarily what a brand is telling them. So again, it is not about just selling to them. It is about sourcing from them, right? So if you source the right kind of information, if we are having word of mouths, the right word of mouth for your customer, and which will come only and only from what you promised and what you delivered, right? So the promise versus delivery, if you can create delight there, automatically there will be better word of mouth, and automatically everything will fall in place. Because this customer, you can't talk down to this customer. You have to walk along with this customer.
In a way, it again boils down to experience, right? If you're able to offer a great experience, then all of the other things sort of stack up for you, right? Like, you get,
Yes.
good customer response, good reviews, as in, and that good word of mouth, which helps you sell more.
Yes, yes. So experience, and the other thing is, which is, see, one is product experience, because whenever somebody is buying you, I feel they're buying into two things. They are buying into the product promise, and they're buying into the brand promise. So
Okay.
the product promise is, yes, I paid 10,000 rupees. What kind of experience am I getting? You told me 50 megapixel. Is it really giving 50 megapixel? Or you told me a full charge in 30 minutes. Is it really charging fully in 30 minutes? That's product promise and product experience. The other is the brand promise and the brand experience. And here it encompasses many other things and not just the product delivery. And most importantly here, it covers the emotional aspect, or some people say the storytelling aspect, or the other some others say, what is the emotional payoff that you get by owning something, right? And that is equally critical, especially in a category like mobile phones. What we have seen is that this is also a way for you to tell the other people, maybe your status, or if you really arrived in life, etc., etc., right? It is not just a physical tool for you to do your daily tasks more efficiently and effectively, right? It is actually a way for you to showcase your larger social persona, and there the brand promise comes into the play.
So it also means maybe you have to sort of align with this audience also, right? In a way, understand what are their aspirations. If
Absolutely.
they are, if they're very conscious about, and sure, in India especially, the youngsters are very conscious about a lot of things. I
Yes.
think they're more concerned about the environment than people who are maybe my age.
Right.
They're more concerned about gender issues. So you need to align with that also, right?
Yes, absolutely. I think as a brand, you need to have a point of view about these things as well. And Gen Z, especially, if they're buying something, they're investing their time and effort in knowing more about you. I think that's also the beauty of Gen Z. The process is less transactional now, I believe, than what it was some time back. Now, in addition to transaction, I think relationship also matters, and the relationship you build with the Gen Z, I think, is what is going to take you forward in the coming decades.
And when you're targeting a younger audience, does the purchasing power of that audience also play on your mind? Maybe these are, you maybe have students who are dependent on the parents to buy them these devices. You maybe have people in the early part of their career who really don't have a lot of. So how do you keep that at the back of your mind while sort of thinking about the right price point and the specs that go into that price point?
Yes, see, price, of course, is going to be an important factor, especially among students, where a lot of them are dependent on their parents to give them money, and therefore they can buy. But having said that, the beauty is, for us, for example, students is one core population. The other is also young working professionals, right? And for these young working professionals, since they have started earning, the key is not so much about, do I have 10,000, 20,000 rupees, and if the phone is also 10, 20,000 rupees. The key is, if I really want something, then I have the affordability options today to even upgrade my purchase, right? Especially we've seen this in 20K plus, 30K plus price point phones. A lot of people, maybe close to 50% people, are okay uh, exercising affordability options like EMIs through banks, credit cards, debit cards, etc., etc. I think, and that has also played a critical role in our industries, ASPs rising, I believe, right? That people now know that, okay, I can stretch my budget a little bit, pay it in EMIs, and get a higher price product which can give me a better experience.
Nipun, one last question, and I've asked this question to a lot of mobile company CEOs all over the world. Is that if you are the mobile customer and you are the mobile CEO, are there things which the mobile customer in you wants, which the mobile CEO cannot put in? Maybe because of the price point or the challenge of technology. Is that a constant conflict that you have within yourself?
Yes, absolutely. I think that's so true. That as a customer, one will really want more and more stuff to be put inside, more relevant stuff. But when it comes to decision making, when it comes to strategy, decisions are all about trade-offs. What do you lose? And in the course of deciding, some things you have to really compromise. But I think that's also the beauty of it. You keep pushing yourself, and therefore innovations which prove to be extremely expensive today become more mainstream in a couple of years, and therefore more and more people can enjoy those innovations as well. So it's a constant battle, but also I think a constant push to keep innovating and to keep providing good stuff to everybody.
And as I keep telling a lot of my readers and people who ask me, have chats with me on this, pricing is also an innovation. You often don't realize it, but to get a certain set of things in a certain price often takes a lot of thinking and at times pure genius. So, Nipun, thanks a lot for being on the show. It is wonderful having you again.
Thank you so much. It was pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much.
So you were listening to Our Own Devices with Nandagopal Rajan. We'll be back again next week with another guest, lot more knowledge and lot more interesting conversation. We are everywhere you listen to your podcast.